Let me ask you something deeply personal. When was the last time you walked into a room and had absolutely no idea why you went there, or reached for a name, someone you've known for 20 years, and it just wasn't there? If you're over 65, I want you to know something right now. You are not imagining this. You are not just getting older. And most importantly, you are not powerless. If this has been happening to you, you are not alone. Almost everyone over 60 notices this at some point. And the fact that you're here watching this, paying attention, tells me you're someone who refuses to just accept it. Good, because what I'm about to share changes everything. Here is a number that should stop you cold. 7.2 million, that is the number of Americans over 65 currently living with Alzheimer's disease, right now, today. And a landmark study published just this year found that the lifetime risk of developing dementia after age 55 is now 42%. More than double what scientists believed a decade ago. If you're sitting in a room with two close friends right now, statistically, one of you is already on that path. The financial cost of dementia in America, $781 billion in 2025 alone. Families draining retirement savings, adult children abandoning careers to become caregivers. The slow, heartbreaking loss of everything a person spent a lifetime building. But here is what today's video is really about. Because buried inside one of the largest clinical memory studies ever conducted, involving more than 3,000 seniors over 65, researchers discovered something the mainstream conversation on aging has almost entirely missed. And I'll tell you this right now so you have a reason to stay with me. The food we're talking about is something you've probably seen hundreds of times: blueberries and cocoa. But what they do inside your aging brain at the cellular level is far more powerful than anyone ever told you. Stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to eat, exactly how much, and exactly when to start. Your brain is worth the next 15 minutes. Now, before we go further, I want to be completely clear. Everything you're about to hear comes from peer-reviewed, published clinical science. We don't do miracle cures here. We go to the actual research, read the actual studies, and translate them into language that makes sense for your real life. Our anchor study today comes from Columbia University, one of the most respected medical institutions on the planet. The lead researcher is Dr. Scott A. Small, a neurologist and director of the Alzheimer's Disease Research Center at Columbia University. Dr. Small has spent over 2 decades studying the aging brain, specifically the part responsible for your memory. And this wasn't a small experiment done on mice. His team conducted one of the largest dietary memory trials in history. 62 real people over age 60 tested with objective memory tools, brain imaging, and biological markers. Published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences in 2023, one of the most respected scientific journals in the world, what they found completely changed how we should think about aging and food. But here's where it gets interesting, and this is the part most people miss entirely. To understand why these two foods work so powerfully, you need to understand what's actually happening inside your brain right now. Deep inside your brain sits a small, curved structure called the hippocampus. This is your memory headquarters, where new memories are formed, where old ones are retrieved, where the sharp recall of your younger years once lived. Inside it is a specific region called the dentate gyrus. Think of it as the engine room of your entire memory system. In young brains, this region is rich with blood vessels. Neurons fire fast, connections form constantly. But after 65, something dangerous begins to happen. The blood vessels feeding this region start to thin, blood flow drops, nutrients stop arriving at the rate your brain needs. And those neurons, starved of fuel, begin to slow down, shrink, and stop forming new connections. Scientists call this hippocampal memory decline. It's not Alzheimer's, it's not a disease, it's aging. But left unchecked, it is one of the primary doorways into Alzheimer's itself. Now listen carefully, because this is where the science becomes genuinely extraordinary. The dentate gyrus is one of the only regions of the adult brain capable of growing brand new brain cells. And it responds powerfully to a specific class of nutrients found in certain everyday foods. Those nutrients are called flavonols. Think of flavonols as your brain's natural repair crew, compounds that rebuild blood vessels in your memory center, restore cellular energy, and measurably reverse cognitive decline. They're found in cocoa, wild blueberries, green tea, and certain leafy greens. And most seniors over 65 are getting almost none of them. Which brings me to the 3 things that are quietly destroying your memory right now, and I want you to be honest with yourself as I walk through each one. Brain enemy number 1, ultra-processed foods, crackers, packaged soups, frozen dinners, flavored yogurts, processed deli meats. Most seniors eat at least one of these every single day and consider it completely normal. But here's what's happening inside your brain when you do. Ultra-processed foods trigger chronic inflammation throughout your entire body, including your brain. That inflammation attacks the blood vessels feeding your hippocampus. It disrupts the cellular machinery your memory depends on. And critically, it crowds out the flavonol-rich whole foods your brain is desperately trying to get. A study published in JAMA Neurology found that for every 10% increase in ultra-processed food consumption, the risk of accelerated memory loss increased by 28% compared to those eating mostly whole foods. Not a small difference. A massive one. Margaret is 71, retired school teacher, walks every morning, watches her portions. She considered herself healthy, but her diet ran on convenience, packaged oatmeal, frozen dinners 4 nights a week, crackers, and processed cheese as snacks. Over 5 years, her memory turned foggy. She started missing appointments, repeating herself mid-conversation. Her doctor confirmed cognitive decline, but no one connected it to her food. The problem wasn't what Margaret was adding. It was what she was blocking out, the very nutrients her hippocampus needed to survive. But here's where it gets even more shocking. Brain enemy number 2, added sugar and sugary drinks. This one surprises almost everyone. And it might make you look at your morning orange juice very differently. Excess sugar damages your brain through a process called glycation, where sugar molecules literally attach themselves to brain proteins and neurons, stiffening and damaging them over time. High blood sugar also attacks the fine blood vessels feeding your hippocampus, the exact vessels we need to protect. The connection between blood sugar problems and memory loss has become so well established that some researchers now call Alzheimer's disease type 3 diabetes. That's not a metaphor. That's a direct biological link. A major review in the journal Nutrients found that seniors who regularly consumed sugary beverages showed significantly higher rates of Alzheimer's risk and measurably worse memory performance, even when they were otherwise cognitively healthy. The damage compounds with frequency. Every daily sugary drink adds to it. William is 68, exercises regularly, takes his blood pressure medication without fail, by every outward measure healthy. But William drinks 2 glasses of juice every morning, 1 soda at lunch, 2 sugars in his coffee 3 times a day. At his last checkup, his cognitive screening scores had dropped nearly 20% over 3 years. His doctor was concerned. No one, not once, connected it to the sugar. William didn't know his daily drinks were quietly dismantling the blood vessel architecture of his brain's memory center, 1 glass at a time. And this third one, this is the part most people have never heard. Brain enemy number 3, a flavonol-deficient diet. This enemy is different. Because it's not about what you eat, it's about what you don't eat. Columbia University researchers created a way to measure, through a simple urine test, how much brain-protecting nutrients a person is actually absorbing from their food. When they tested participants in their landmark 35-62-person study, the results were alarming. A huge portion of seniors over 65 had dangerously low levels, not because of any disease, but simply because the modern Western diet has been almost completely stripped of the fruits, vegetables, and plant foods that naturally contain flavonols. And the participants with the lowest levels had the worst memory scores. Measurably, objectively, by far. In a separate study of over 6,000 older adults, researchers found that the standard American diet is creating a nation of flavonol-deficient brains, and most people have absolutely no idea it's happening to them. Eleanor is 74, eats what she was always told was healthy: chicken, rice, toast, canned vegetables, a daily banana, takes her multivitamin without fail. She has no idea her diet contains almost no flavonols. No standard blood test would catch it, but for years this invisible deficiency has been quietly starving the blood vessels in her memory center. She wonders why she can't remember a movie plot the next morning. Eleanor's story. Margaret's story, William's story, these aren't tragedies. They're wake-up calls. Because what a poor diet took away, the right food can begin to give back. And the science proving that is more powerful than almost anything in modern nutrition research. So let's talk about the solution, the actual science, and exactly what you need to do starting as early as tomorrow morning, the hero nutrients. Flavonols found in cocoa, wild blueberries, and dark leafy greens. Flavonols are plant-based compounds that do something remarkable inside your aging brain. They rebuild the blood vessels in your memory center, restore cellular energy, and stimulate the growth of brand new brain cells in the exact region that age has been attacking. And unlike most nutritional claims, this isn't based on a single small study. It's backed by some of the most rigorous human clinical trials ever conducted on memory and aging. Let me walk you through the 3 key findings. And pay close attention because each one is more remarkable than the last. Finding number 1, the Columbia Brain Imaging Trial. Dr. Small's initial trial gave one group of adults aged 50 to 69 a cocoa drink containing 900 milligrams of flavonols daily for 3 months. The other group received a low flavonol version, essentially what most people on a standard Western diet already consume. Before and after, they used brain imaging to directly measure blood flow in the dentate gyrus, the memory engine room we discussed, and tested memory performance with validated clinical tools. Now listen carefully because these results are extraordinary. The high flavonol group showed direct, visible improvements in brain blood vessel activity on their scans. Their memory engine room had physically improved. New blood vessels had formed, and on the memory tests, Dr. Small put it simply, if a participant had the memory of a typical 60-year-old at the beginning, after 3 months they had the memory of a typical 30 or 40-year-old, 30 to 40 years old. Not slowed, not maintained, reversed by 2 to 3 decades of cognitive performance in 90 days. Finding number 2, the Cosmos Mind trial, 35-62 seniors, 3 years, but here's where it gets even more compelling. To confirm those results at real scale, Dr. Small's team, in collaboration with Harvard Medical School and Brigham and Women's Hospital, ran a 3-year trial with 35-62 older adults. Half received 500 milligrams of cocoa flavonols daily. Half received a placebo. Memory was tested repeatedly using gold standard clinical tools. The results for seniors who started with the lowest diet quality and lowest flavonol levels were nothing short of remarkable. Year 1, measurable memory improvement. Year 2, continued improvement. Year 3, still improving, not a spike, not a temporary boost. A sustained, progressive restoration of memory function in real people over real time. With real clinical measurements. This is the study in this video's title. This is what 3,000 seniors over 65 discovered. Finding number 3, wild blueberries and memory recall. Cocoa isn't the only source. And here is where wild blueberries enter the story with results that are just as striking. Researchers at the University of Cincinnati gave older adults with early memory decline wild blueberry juice daily for just 12 weeks and measured 2 specific memory functions. Memory learning scores improved by over 40%. Word recall scores improved by 33%. In a separate 6-month study, daily wild blueberry consumption significantly improved information processing speed, one of the very first cognitive functions to decline with age. 12 weeks, early memory decline, measurable clinical reversal. Your daily action plan starting tomorrow. Now let me give you something concrete, because research means nothing without action. Here is your simple daily flavonol protocol built directly from the clinical evidence. Step 1, dark cocoa every morning. Add 1 to 2 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa powder to your morning coffee, oatmeal, or smoothie. 1 tablespoon delivers up to 130 milligrams of flavonols. Daily use builds toward the 500 milligrams shown to restore memory in the Cosmos trial. Prefer chocolate? 1 to 2 small squares of 70% or higher dark chocolate works equally well, just choose low sugar. Step 2, wild blueberries 5 days a week. Half a cup to 1 full cup added to breakfast, yogurt, or a smoothie. Wild blueberries contain significantly more flavonols than regular blueberries. Frozen versions work just as well and cost a fraction of the price. Buy in bulk. Step 3. A 20-minute morning walk. Exercise stimulates the production of a brain repair protein called BDNF, which works hand in hand with dietary flavonols. Combined, researchers describe a multiplied effect. Walk first, eat your blueberries and cocoa after. Step 4. 1 dark leafy green every day. Spinach, kale, or collard greens. Just 1 serving per day provides flavonols alongside vitamin K, lutein, and folate, all confirmed by Harvard Health as key brain protective nutrients for seniors. Step 5. Cut the 3 brain enemies, not perfectly, just progressively. Less ultra-processed food, fewer sugary drinks, more whole, colorful plant foods taking their place. Step 6. Be consistent, not perfect. The Columbia data showed improvement builds progressively. Some seniors felt meaningful changes within 30 days. Maximum benefits came at 12 months and beyond. This is your brain rebuilding itself 1 day at a time. That takes patience, and it is absolutely worth it. Before we close, I want to take a quick moment. If you've watched this far, if this has surprised you or confirmed something you already suspected, I want you to do 3 simple things right now. Hit the like button. It tells us this content matters to you, and it helps us reach the millions of seniors who need this information and haven't found it yet. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Every week we publish research-backed content designed specifically for adults over 60. Brain health, heart health, joint protection, energy, longevity. Real science, plain language, zero sales pitch. Leave a comment below. Tell me, how old are you and what is the one health issue that concerns you most right now? Memory, energy, mobility, joints. I read every single one. Your comments shape every future video on this channel. This community exists for one reason: to help you think sharper, live longer, and stay independent on your own terms. Now the most important part. I want to leave you with something I believe completely, and that the science now backs up with real evidence. You are not at the mercy of your age. You are not required to watch your memory fade quietly just because the calendar says 65 or 70 or 75. That is the old story written before we had the science to know better. Here is the new story. Your hippocampus, that remarkable memory center in your brain, is not on a fixed, irreversible schedule of decline. It is responding to what you eat. It is sensitive to the nutrients you give it. It has the biological capacity to rebuild blood vessels, restore connections, and perform like a brain decades younger. 3,562 real people proved that, over 3 real years, with some of the most rigorous clinical tools ever applied to the study of memory. Think about what that actually means for your daily life. It means the conversations you're afraid of losing, you have the power to protect them. It means the names, the faces, the stories, the recipes, the moments, the entire interior world of who you are does not have to fade. It means your independence, driving yourself to your appointments, remembering your grandchildren's birthdays, feeling sharp when you sit down with the morning paper. That is not inevitably slipping away. It is worth protecting. And now you know exactly how. A half cup of wild blueberries in your morning yogurt. A tablespoon of cocoa in your coffee. A small square of dark chocolate after dinner. A handful of spinach at lunch. A 20-minute walk before the day begins. Small choices done consistently, backed by 3,562 human lives worth of clinical proof. Here is the number that puts it all in perspective. Dementia costs American families $781 billion in 2025. A cup of frozen wild blueberries costs less than $1. A tablespoon of cocoa powder costs pennies. The distance between those two realities is just one thing. The decision, the daily, consistent, informed decision to give your brain what it needs. That decision starts today. It starts with this video, and it starts with you. If you're ready to take your brain health seriously, subscribe to this channel right now, turn on notifications, share this video with someone over 65 who deserves to know what you now know. Because your memory is worth protecting. Your independence is worth fighting for. In your future, every sharp, present, connected year of it is absolutely worth investing in. I'll see you in the next video.